Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here, and welcome back to another weekend stream. And yes, as the thumbnail suggests, we have the OG of YouTubers, the OG of streamers, the one and only Engineer Hoist on the channel, guys. So yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Anytime, anytime. The privilege is all mine. The pleasure is all mine. The privilege? The pleasure is all mine. Uh, I know that Hoist has been saying a few hellos in the chat, but anyone else you want to say hello to as well?
I think we got a few more people showing up. Recognize SG Soundwave, Silverbolt 94. Also, shouted out to Fitz. I think Matt Polly's here. Not sure if I've seen Hot Rod 591 before, but I like your name.
Let's not
Welcome
go there.
everybody.
Cool. And obviously, I want to give a big shout out to obviously Grind Time, who's one of my members. And don't forget, guys, you can become a member at any point if you would like. You get a few added benefits, doing some special members giveaways, things like that. So yeah, just something to go and check out. But less of that and more of Hoist. So super pumped to have you on the channel. So yeah, when I sort of started doing this really streaming and things like this was always the dream to sort of do these sort of interviews and something I've always aspired to do. And one of the things was I'd love to do an interview with Hoist, and get you on. So yeah, again, thanks for coming on. I'm super pleased. So for those that might live under a rock and not know who you are, so do you want us to tell everyone who you are, what you do?
Well, first of all, they're saying I got a low volume. I turned mine up on my side. How's it going? How's it now, everybody?
I don't know. It's showing some good levels on mine, but I can turn it up. Is the
Yeah, I turned it up over here. So, if they're hearing it.
turn the volume up, Hoist. So I can make some adjustments there. Duh, duh, duh. Give me a
How about
second.
now? Still very low, says Sharks.
Is that better?
We'll try.
We will
It's
see.
flipping on my end.
It's very strange. We did have a few problems with sound just before the stream start. We had a few problems with the sound. I made some adjustments. Is that better, guys? Any better?
Is it any better? Can you guys hear? These are the joys of live.
Nothing goes to plan in these interviews ever.
Nothing goes planned.
Can't hear
Still
it.
a little low.
Still a little low. Okay, let's try
Hmm.
something different a minute. Apologies. Like I said, I probably changed something and a little
Oh, now they're saying better, better, better.
better. Good.
Good, good. Yes, but better. Yes, good. Okay, cool.
Hey, we've changed the settings back. Apologies, guys. Like I said, we had a few errors with the sound just before the stream, but yeah, we've corrected it. Cool, cool.
If there's no technical difficulties, you didn't really do a live stream.
True, true. There's so many things can
So,
go
what was the
wrong.
question again? Talk about the channel, you said?
Yeah, so just yeah, anyone that's
Yeah.
lived under a rock, just saying, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? I mean, everyone knows, I think by now, but yeah, let's just
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I'm Engineer Hoist for anybody who hasn't met me before. I'm over at youtube.com/Engineer Hoist. You can find me there. I've also got Twitter and Instagram. I don't post on those much, but I am there. Um, I've been doing YouTube since before the game started. I started off basically doing like Transformers reviews. Wasn't very prolific with that, but then this game came out about a little more than 5 years ago, and I was like, this is pretty fun. Let me see about. And I had just learned how to capture my phone screen on my computer. Like, okay, let's go do this. Did a little video, actually got a little bit of traction. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Let's try a couple more videos on this. So then I did like the endless power level. Like that last level in the campaign where before you could
yeah.
get Optimus Prime or Megatron. I went and did a video of just that level, and I had the hardest time with that level. So anybody out there who's still struggling with it, it's hard. It's not an easy one when you're first starting out. I think I said I tried it like 7 times or something. I was like, you know what? Let's go and record it. And contrary to how things usually go, when I turned the camera on, I actually beat it, and I put that up, and that particular video kind of blew up. I'm like, yeah, I might have something here. So I was like, I've doubled down, because these videos on this game were working out for me, so I kept doing it. And this was before I even had any kind of relationship with Space Ape. And at one point, one of the people from Space Ape, who's not there anymore, came into one of the Facebook groups I was in and says, "Hey, we've got this game. Anybody want to do some videos on it?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm already doing it." So that's when they kind of brought me in, and that started the relationship. And it's kind of went through a lull over the years, but it's very strong relationship with Space Ape and the
Yeah.
content creators now. Better than it's ever been. And yeah, it's a lot thanks to Dale and Jack, and even before them, Chris was a
Yeah.
huge help. But yeah, so that's mostly what I do now. And you can find me streaming Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Basically, you watch Sunstreaker Wozza's stream, hang out for an hour or so after that, then mine's going to pop up. And so we cover the news, we talk about things in the game, we crack crystals, we show off the new toys that I happen to get. So the toys haven't totally gone away. I may not be doing full reviews, but I do still like to show them off.
Nah,
So
it's good, good, good.
yeah.
So also as well, I mean, we've got to talk about non-toxic gamers. I mean, when I first got introduced to you, it was yourself, Soldier. Who's the other guy as well in non-toxic Transformers Earth Wars? Uh,
Probably APOC.
APOC, yes.
Yeah.
So I started off watching the likes of you and APOC, Soldier, even the likes of JT, Oasis, Bearded Ghost, all you sort of guys, and getting to learn the game, and then they sort of faded away a bit, but you've stayed strong throughout. So how does non-toxic gamers? Where did that come from? How did that start?
Well, that's a brainchild of APOC, really. It's and he's actually grown it into a nonprofit, and it's a little much for me to get into the whole nonprofit side of it, but I still like to be associated with it and kind of show the values of it. Basically, he had an experience one time playing a game. And I don't know if he said ever which game it was, but somebody was just being really rude and the toxic behavior that you see in games, the
Yeah,
cursing and bullying and stuff like that. And he said we got to do something to stop this. So he's been kind of preaching that message, trying to get people to stop. And if you're in my Discord channel, it's definitely, or even watch any of my videos, yeah, you got to watch your language, you got to be kind, and just be friends with everybody. Don't be
yeah,
mean or anything like that. If you've got any kind of bullying or meanness or anything like that, you're getting immediately kicked and banned.
yeah.
And even though it definitely is true for a lot of online games, I really have to praise everybody in the Transformers community. There's hardly any toxicity. I mean, I'm sure there's
Hardly.
some out there, but it's definitely not widespread.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's really what non-toxic gamers is all about. You can go to nontoxicgamers.org, and that's the website if you want to go see more about that. I think they're still working on it a little bit, but that's where everything's going to be.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a bit of light trolling. I mean, we troll each other on each other's channels and have a bit of a laugh and a joke, and
Yeah, but
I don't think there's
it's
anything wrong
good
with that
nature
between
type of
friends.
stuff. You're
Yeah,
not actually
exactly.
out being
Yeah.
mean. It is a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is obviously there's always going to be trolls, sadly. But we just have to try and ignore them. Basically, the trolls are trying to get a reaction. Try and ignore them the best you can. I'm not the best at it. I'm not going to lie, but trolls are going to troll, sadly. So also
Yep.
as well, I mean, obviously, Hoist comes from Transformers Hoist, but I mean, I've talked about my name. My name simply just came from my in-game name. My name
Mhm.
Wozza, and then just put the two together just to create a YouTube channel just to help people out. And there was no, like you said, there's no plan to really do a channel as such. It was just to get this video out to this one person. And I couldn't find a platform other than YouTube to do it. So, how did you come up with the name? Same sort of thing, or did you really think about it and did you decide on that? Or
Yeah, that actually goes well back before I got into YouTube or anything like that. It was really when was just kind of starting to get into like more of an online presence because related to Transformers because I had already started collecting again and was really enjoying the toys, but I wanted somebody to share with because I don't really know anybody in real life that also shares the love of Transformers.
same?
But I was starting to find Facebook groups and things like that. And I kind of had an interest in web design at the time, so I was like, hey, I'll set up a website, but what am I going to call it? I want something unique. There's 1,000 hot rods and Rodimus Primes out there. There's a million Optimus Primes and
Yeah.
Megatrons out there. So even though Hot Rod's my favorite character, I didn't want to do that because I'm sure it wasn't going to stand out. And just so happens, right about that time, the Spotlight Hoist comic had just came out. And I remember Hoist from I had a Hoist figure as a child. I don't still have that particular one, although I do have I did get another G1 Hoist in the meantime, mostly inspired by the taking on the name. But in that comic, he goes on to describe himself as, I'm just a mid-ranking maintenance engineer whose personality is not a result of a crippling psychological disorder. And I was just like, that's basically me. you know, Mid-ranking maintenance engineer, for real. And so I saw one of the questions. I don't know if you had that on the list. Are you really an engineer? Yeah, I've got an electrical engineering degree, and I work at the Space Center as an engineer. And to be something more than just Hoist, I was like, well, he's an engineer, so let's slap on Engineer Hoist. And the website was taken, email things were taken, usernames wherever I went. Were not taken. So I was like, yeah, so we'll go with this. And so I've just stuck with that name for consistency all throughout. And so there
It
you go.
works. It works. Similar to
Yeah.
me. I mean, I played an old game. I've talked about this before. Won't touch on it too much. With Transformers Legends, and it's exactly the same. I was called Wozza 1982, and that was my name in everything I played. And I thought, well, I feel a bit left out because everyone's got Optimus, Ultra Magnus, Galvatron, Megatron. I was like, I need something that's not everyone has, but everyone knows still. And I just chose Sunstreaker,
Right.
and then
Which Optimus are you again?
yeah.
Which
But the weird thing was that I chose Sunstreak, and all of a sudden I started seeing more and more Sunstreak, and I was like, it's not as less popular as I thought. I mean, even in this game, there's one guy that's called Sunstreaker I have a bit of a joke with, because I'm Sunstreaker 7, and he's called Sunstreaker, so he winds me up saying, well, I'm the original Sunstreaker, because you're the 7th one.
You're the number
So,
7.
because when I downloaded the game, Sunstreaker was gone. I had to thought, oh, my look at number 7. I'll pick 7. So he likes to wind
There
me
you
up
go.
about that and mention it all the time whenever I see him. But I still like to think myself as the original. But hey. So yeah, talking about obviously yourself as well. Any other hobbies? I mean, obviously Earth Wars takes up a lot of time, and then we've got our
Mhm.
personal life to the work and anything. But obviously we've got the Transformers toy collecting that you mentioned that you do. Any other hobbies outside of that, or is that pretty much it? Because yeah, same for me. I think that you know,
Yeah, not a whole lot. Unless you count. I like watching a lot of the new shows coming out on Netflix and various other streaming channels. I'm watching all the stuff on Disney Plus. Big fan of the MCU, so
yeah.
watching Loki right now. I've been, I saw Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision. I'm a Star Wars fan too, so I'm in the middle of watching the Bad Batch and all of that stuff. So I don't really collect a whole lot of other stuff, although I have dipped into the Star Wars Black Series a little bit, mostly Mandalorian related figures because I love that show.
Just be careful. We know where that leads. It's a slippery slope. We
Yeah,
start off and
when I started doing it, I said I'm sticking with just Mandalorian related
then.
type of stuff.
Well, we'll see.
Um, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I just started, like I said, collecting as a kid from my parents buying me Transformers, and literally went in the loft. You get to about a teenage year, like, Transformers ain't cool anymore. I'm a teenager now, and I don't need them. And it's only because of my son that I got him back out again, and then he started getting into it, started collecting them again. And even now, he's got to the age where he's not interested. I still feel the need to go and buy certain ones, and I'm like, well, they are just going to sit there in a box, but I still want to buy them. So then it's these occasional ones that have a special place that I think, yeah, I'm going to get that one just because it's that one. I mean, not to your level. I mean, every stream you do, there's a new Transformer. I'm like, where does this guy pull them from?
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've got a whole storeroom full. I'd like to see that. I mean, I've seen obviously like you displaying certain ones, but I've never seen your whole collection together. And you're laughing. Can you even get it on
Uh,
one screen?
Honestly, I'm embarrassed about my situation right now.
Oh,
I,
don't
I, do
be.
have, I do have a video up I did probably a year or so ago where I kind of went through some of my shelves, but I'm trying to make a little more sense of this. And right now, a lot of it's just kind of stuck in some the plastic bins that I need to try to organize a little bit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, a
but
friend of mine had just boxes like piled up. I'm like, why do you buy them to just pile them up in boxes, put them on display? It's like I haven't got any room for them.
I've questioned my question. I question myself the same thing
It's an addiction.
quite often. Yeah, yeah, plastic addiction. That's the worst things to be addicted to, I suppose.
So, in terms of gaming, is this the first game you played? Is it just the first mobile game? Any other interesting gaming before this? Any Transformers games before this? I don't know.
Well, I've played a lot of the Transformers games that came out on the consoles. Fall of Cybertron was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I
War for
agree.
Cybertron before that was pretty darn good, but Fall of Cybertron just really killed it. And I can't say I played all of them, but I definitely played those. And as far as mobile goes, I did dip into a few games here and there, but usually once you hit the paywall, I abandon it.
Yeah.
Including things like Transformers Legends and what was it, Battle Tactics. I thought was
Ah,
I
so you
like
played
that
them as
the
well.
animation
Cool.
style. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but again, I didn't spend any money on it because I was just like, yeah, I don't really see doing that. I mean, that's kind of silly. Who's going to spend that kind of money on a game?
And
But
fast
Earth
forward.
Wars, there was just something about Earth Wars just like really fun, and just the mechanics of the game and the
Yeah.
style, and of course Transformers had a lot to do with it. So that's where I spent my first penny on mobile games, and just haven't looked back really.
Yeah.
Um, I also do play Disney Magic Kingdoms quite
All
regularly
right.
on my phone too. So I'm a big Disney fan too. So I don't really talk about it much except to say that yeah, I do play it. But I don't make content or anything on it. That's just for me personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I literally just play this. Well, I mean, I play a bit of Call of Duty and FIFA in between, but they're like, I'll be honest with you, I used to play a lot before mobile games, and the only reason I switched from doing those games was because I had kids and I couldn't be plugged in with headphones to a screen for 4 hours. With mobile gaming, you can pick it up, you can play a bit, you can look after your kids, go and make tea, and then play a bit more and
Right.
pick up and go. Whereas obviously PlayStation's a bit more solid, so that's how I got into
Yeah.
mobile gaming myself. Just a bit easier and it's on the go, and you can do a bit in the toilet at work on your break, a quick 5 minutes. We've all done it. Let's be honest.
Think we've all been there. Yeah.
An important event or walk, you're like, oh, I need to get a quick 5 minutes, and I'll go to the toilet quickly. And just, yeah.
Get a couple quick battles in.
Yeah, I think there's a meme
Well, you
somewhere
were
where it
there.
says,
You
look,
were there a long time. Yeah, it was kind of rough. Meanwhile, you just had to pee, but you're sitting there playing your game.
yeah, we've all been there, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I still
So,
play the console too. I like the Legend of Zelda games a lot.
oh,
And
cool, yeah.
pretty much anything like Rockstar comes out with, like Red Dead Redemption is amazing.
Yeah,
I saw played Jedi Fallen Order. Was a fantastic game too on the Star Wars side. So I do play the console. Usually, if you find me not playing Transformers Earth Wars much, it's probably because I'm sucked into a console game.
yeah.
So
Okay, so for those that are aware, in my Discord channel, I did put a section where you can ask Hoist a question. So we've got some of those questions. Now, if your question
Mhm.
gets read out, then you win a Sunstreaker Wozza Stash crystal. We'll also be giving some away at the end. I won't tell you yet why and how we're going to be doing that. And also, Hoist is going to be giving a few away as well. So, could be a lot of giveaways in this stream. So, the first question is from my good friend Grindtime, and he's asked, "Which is your favorite TF figure?"
that's a hard question. It really is. There's so many good figures out there, and honestly, my favorite changes fairly regularly. Um, I'd have to say right now, just because of how amazing, and I didn't know even about him until he started coming in the game. But Magnaboss here is pretty
Ah,
amazing, and I managed to find him for a decent price on eBay after they announced that he was going to be coming in the game. And I mean, look at this guy. He's there's just so much you can say about him, and it's just I love it to death, and I wish I had seen it sooner. But yeah, right now, I'm saying Magnaboss is my favorite figure right now.
well, you say it's
So
been announced, but has it been announced?
Well,
officially?
hey, come on. We've got two of the three parts, and it's it's not official yet, but once they started coming out with that, yeah,
Yeah, we know what's
uh,
coming. We see these when
it's
Computron.
it's coming,
Yeah,
it's
it's
coming,
coming.
it's
But
coming. But
how do you see it coming out?
after, hmm?
Sorry, go on, Kevin, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say after the last after the last pair of combiners, Computron and Lyokaiser, I didn't have any of those figures. And then they start coming out with this. I'm like, oh come on, So I went to go see, is it even possible to get figures of these at a relatively decent price? And I lucked out and I found complete sets of both of them.
Really?
I was like, yeah, buy. So
Nice.
and I'm glad
Yeah.
I did. Magnaboss is crazy.
So how would you see it coming out though? I mean, I'm a bit baffled myself that there's three bots. Is that right? Isn't it? Three bots.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That's
just
three
three
bot
bots
combiner.
each.
I wonder how that's gonna work. I can't see them being as big
Oh,
as combiners, are they?
oh, scale doesn't make a whole lot of sense in
Well, yeah,
Transformers in the first place. So I mean,
that's a
they
good
can
point.
certainly make them that big, even with the three of them.
That's a good point, exactly.
So
Yeah, true, true. Maybe, maybe. Be interested to see how they do it, because from a monetary point of view, I can't see them bringing out the same as combiners, because only three bots. It'd be a very easy combiner to bring out. So will it be smaller in scale but cheaper to get? Will it
yeah,
be less powerful? I mean, it's 101 questions that I'm sure they're considering, but yeah, be interesting to see how they do with that and where that goes. Because then we've got, I was talking about the some of the bots where it's just two bots that combine together to make other bots, and might bring them into the game maybe in some way. But
that
who
might be tough.
knows?
I think only the Decepticons got those guys.
Yeah,
Like
I think
you
so.
talk
Yeah,
Battle Trap and Flywheels. I
yeah,
think were the only two duocons that I can think of.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I'm sure they'll
yeah,
throw
it'll
them
be
in
interesting to
somewhere.
see.
Yeah. So the next question is from Blasthorn61. And they've asked, is there a bot in the game that others think is trash that you think is good?
I gave this one a little bit of thought, and not really. I mean, the ones most people think are trash, I generally think are trash too. I would say, like, is on the topic of like nose cone and drill horn, they are still good, strong tanks. So as long as you don't need a special ability, if you've got all that covered, they still fill out that warrior role really good. And I do like occasionally firing off their ability because at least the first one's relatively cheap to send them to go pop outposts if I don't have, like, say, Rook or RC on them on the team. So I do definitely use that tactic occasionally. That's probably the only thing I could say about a bad bot that's at least semi useful, not
Yeah,
quite good.
it's going to be interesting to see where that goes with Nosecomb because they need to buff him. But it's going to be interesting. I've started
Yeah,
leveling mine
well,
in
that's why I said
preparation.
next 5-star poll, vote for nose cone and drill horn, and they'll be
Oh
forced to
no,
buff them.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, I see people saying that, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think that's a bit far. But yeah, we'll see. And then the third question from this part is, well, I'll ask a question, but you don't have to answer yet because then I'll do my bit. Because the Crusher 11 has asked, which is the most expensive TF figure you've bought? Now, the first rule of Transformers Earth Wars Club is you don't talk about money. And the second rule is you don't talk about money. So we don't need to mention any specifics, but I would presume it is maybe the gent on your shoulder there. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. The single most expensive figure. I might have a third party combiner that went a little bit more than that guy, but as far as a
Really?
single figure goes, yeah, that without a doubt, it's all Unicron back there.
So is there any figures that you bought where you paid over the odds because of rarity maybe, or something where you think it was X amount and then when you've looked into it you thought, well, actually that's a lot more than I thought because of, it was rare or scarce for some reason? Anything of?
Not really. I'm not really one who subscribes to the whole concept of a holy grail, like I have to get this no matter the cost, type of a thing. Certainly, I've picked up some older G1 figures, like Magna Boss or Tripredicus. I know they're Beast Wars. I said G1, but the price I paid for them is not the price that they were originally, of course, but they are older figures, so I figured I paid a little bit more. I recently picked up maybe a year or two ago G1 Metroplex, which was far more than what you would have gone for back when in the 80s. But again, inflation wise, it's probably worked out about right. But you're not going to see me going crazy. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I backed old Unicron back there, is because I got him for the original price that HasLab did, because I knew the price on the secondary market would be absolutely insane, and there's no way I would pay that price.
True, true.
So no, not really. I don't. I wouldn't say I've gone paid extra. I mean, I definitely buy some expensive stuff, but I mean, it's the normal retail price for those things.
Cool. So let's get into about content creating. Obviously, we're both content creators, and we know how it works. But I think a lot of people outside that, they see it for what it is, but don't understand. Like, I mean, I talk to Grind Time quite regular about it, and we talked about it before the stream about how hard it is to actually make videos and how much effort actually goes in. And even when you're doing these live
Yeah.
streams, the settings involved. And I remember talking to you when I first set this up. I said, like, what's your settings? And it's just settings in settings within settings within settings, and it is crazy the detail you can go into. And people, and obviously nodding there, you're like, yep, yep, it's crazy. um but talking to like the highlights, any highlights you can think of in terms of content creating that you can think of.
Uh, Highlights, like things that are good about it.
Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, anything, yeah.
well, I mean, first, if you're fortunate enough to actually, have your videos viewed by people and have somewhat of a following, like all you folks watching now, whether you're live or the replay. I mean, it's great. It I wouldn't say I do it like I have to have it or whatever, but it certainly helps make you feel good when you show up and there's people there raring to go,
Yeah.
ready to chat with you and hear what you have to say. Because honestly, there's been many times where Wednesday comes around and I'm really just not feeling it. But I was just like, but I know I'm going to feel better afterwards because of the interactions and talking with everybody. So definitely the highlights, especially with the streaming, is that live interaction with the everybody out there watching. So yeah, I always feel better at the end of the day on a Wednesday after the stream than I usually do going into it. So
Yeah.
that's definitely probably the highest high.
And I mean, I always talk about one of my highlights, obviously going visiting Space State, which you did well before me. You went to, was it Fastlane? You went to test, was it? Was it Fastlane or something else?
I'm trying to remember the game because I knew the story was going to come up. APOC actually got that all set up with the non-toxic gamers. He asked if I wanted to go, and honestly, I wasn't really too interested in the game. It was one of those Brawl Stars, maybe. I don't know.
Ah, right, yeah.
It was one of those like where you go and you got two teams and you're trying to achieve, capture a target or something like that.
I think it
I
was,
wasn't really
yeah.
crazy about that particular game, but hey, it's Space Ape. They make the Transformers Earth Wars. Like, yes, I'm in. And immediately I was like, any chance we can meet the Earth Wars team? And
Obviously.
so they said, yeah, sure. And they went ahead and set up that meeting. So that was cool. But
Yeah,
it was,
cool.
unfortunately, it was really just about an hour or two meeting with them. But I enjoyed everything. Got to meet Giannis and Adam, with the previous dev was there, and yeah, it was real cool.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, that's the only criticism I'll say is that it was very short, how long, I think I was there for about an hour and a half. I think maybe 2 hours at a max. So yeah, but I talked to Dale and I said I'd love to go down again, and if you ever got invited and you were there, I'd love to sort of like have a streamers and YouTubers meetup maybe where it's an open invitation. I mean, obviously it's hard for you guys to get down there. It's like $100 for me. That's a
Yeah,
snip of what you'd pay. So yeah. So
yeah.
hopefully, I mean, next time you ever. I mean, did you say that you got family over here or something? Is that right?
Yeah, my sister lives over there.
That's right. Yeah, I remember talking about it. Yeah. So yeah, if you're ever obviously visiting your sister, let's try and schedule it in, and I will definitely work it out because yeah, it'd be good to sort of meet you in person and try and get a few of us together maybe, and yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I could take
Yeah,
you.
I'll have to do that.
I could take you to an English pub, a traditional English pub, and you can watch some people fighting for the night. So in
Sounds
terms
fun.
of lows, I mean, what would you say the lows about content creating are? I mean, let's not mince our words and let's not, pretend it's all glitz and glamour because it isn't. We know it isn't. There are some lows. So, what do you think of the lows in your opinion about it?
The tough thing sometimes is coming up with ideas. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it helps. Once I started doing like the newsletters and stuff like that. I mean, that's pretty much what I've done. So I mean, the ideas kind of write itself. But beyond that, it's kind of hard to come up with it. Plus, if you're gonna do anything, like you see people doing videos or whatever, like even watching, as somebody who's made videos before, when I watch other people's videos, I'm enjoying the video itself, obviously, but I'm also looking at everything they're doing, and I really appreciate all of the work that they do. Like I know a lot of people, mentioned like those outpost bots videos that I did a couple of years ago. They say they need updating, and you're absolutely right. They totally do. Although the worst outpost bots pretty much still holds water. Most of those on that
yeah,
list are still the worst.
yeah,
Best outpost bots, there are definitely better ones out there now. Uh, but it's a lot of work getting that B-roll. We chatted about this briefly before the stream.
yeah,
But getting that in-game footage to show off exactly what it is that you want to do is not really easy, especially for the outpost bots, because you're trying to hope that you see one of those outpost bots show up and have it be good footage that you can use. And it's weird because, and then trying to write a script for it, invariably you're going to want to say more than what the clip length has time wise, or you
yeah,
don't have enough to say for how long it is. So trying to find that, it's just very difficult. It's a huge amount of work, even for
yeah,
like a 5 minute video done in that sort of a style. That's why streaming is pretty easy. I mean, there's still plenty of prep to do. I mean, it's probably, I'd say, at least an hour or an hour and a half ahead of
yeah.
time making up the slides and thumbnails and all that, and even more so when you're doing an interview. So I mean, it's a lot of work, but the nice thing is when you stream, you hit go live, you do your content, and it when you're done, it's basically done for you, unless you want to go and do some edits afterwards. But I don't think a lot of us do that.
Yeah, I know you used to do your stream and then sort of edit it down, and I know that a lot of other streamers, YouTubers, and other, not just Earthwise, I mean in general, and other things, they tend to do that. That they do a stream and then they cut and chop, and I don't know how they find the time to do it because you've got to think if you're doing an hour and a half stream, it's not a case of you don't just go in and just go chop chop. You watch it all the way through and you chop bits out and then you get all the sections you want. Then you got to splice them together, sort the sound out, and then sort of edit everything. It can take you hours. I mean, to do a video, it can easily take me about 2 or 3 hours to do a 10-minute video, say, that's quite in depth. And
And that's
especially
that's
is
that's actually a good short amount of time. It
yeah,
could easily take far longer than that.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, a lot of the hard bit is. I mean, we talked about it again before the stream. Talked about how impromptu your streams are. You do the newsletter, you literally just go, "What do you guys want to talk about?" I tend to try and do bits more, but my ideas come from the chats. I'm in the chat and I'll see someone asking a question about something. And I'm like, well, yeah, I haven't really covered that. I'll try and cover that. But it gets to the point where you're like, well, I've pretty much covered most things now, unless something new comes out. And then you're like, right, on it straight away. You're like, right, I'm going to cover that because there's literally nothing else I can cover. And I started jumping on it. But it's so hard to come with
And
new
that
content.
and that's a good way to do it too, because I mean, we enjoy making these videos, but we do want people to watch.
Yeah.
So getting ideas for what they want to see, I mean, that makes an awful lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard sometimes as well, though, because literally you'll do a video. I mean, I need to update some of my older ones. I think that's what I'm looking at now, like you said about the Elpo spots. And some of my older ones definitely need updating. I mean, base design video. I watched it back. As a part of a stream, as an idea, I thought I'll talk about my old videos. I did like 300 videos. I thought I'll go back and talk about like the old videos and sort of reminisce a bit. And just as like I said about prep, I thought I'll go through some of my early videos. Oh, I couldn't believe how bad it was. That I've done a base design video, but obviously I didn't have a streaming setup like this. I just had my iPad, so I couldn't draw on it or anything like that. So it's literally just me looking at a base and talking for 20 minutes. I was like, oh my day, that is so bad. I think I don't skip that screen for about 10 minutes. I was
Yeah.
like, I need to do an update of that where it's about base design because base design has changed so much, but also become lot less relevant in a way because there's so many different bots out there now, and and like we say, no base is safe. You can beat any
Yeah.
base.
Yeah. I famously haven't changed my base in probably about three years,
Wow.
except for upgrades, and it's because I got to that point where it's like every base is beatable if you bring the right squad, and people always seem to bring the right squad. So it's like why take the time? It's probably the most tedious,
Yeah.
mind-numbing thing to do, and for all the effort that you go and you put into it, only just to lose again. I just to me, I just don't see it worth it. Of course, we don't war very much in the game. Whereas I know you guys and a lot of other top players do. So in that case, you
Yeah.
are actually trying to be harder and win. So, but we really don't. So the only people attacking me are people who randomly get me pulled when they go do the PvP. So it's not super important for that reason. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's base design stuff, and like you said, any base design tip video that you do is probably going to be obsolete in just a couple of months with the next bot that comes out.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, me and Grind Time again talk a lot about it outside the stream because we're in the same alliance, and it is literally just when you create a base, it is beatable by a certain technique, but it's just creating a base that is harder to beat with the current one bot or meta. Like in a minute, it's Blades and Goldfire, so you want to make it so that Goldfire can't pop all the outposts and put anti-air in, and that's pretty much it. That's all you're aiming for, and to try and split the bots up. And then I'm sure that Blades and Goldfire would become, and they already are, becoming a bit less relevant. And Blades is still great, and Goldfire is still great, but they become less relevant, and you'll see other bots coming in a bit. I mean, I see a lot of people using the likes of Punch. There's a lot of like stealth coming into the game, I think, recently. That's where I see it going next, because we'll talk about it in playtesting, that there's not a lot of stealth in the game. It's one area I don't think they've really hit. So I can see that. So I can see the
Yeah.
likes of flare mines coming back in. I think people will start using flare mines a lot more. And again, we'll see that the cores shift. They might bring out some new cores that a certain core can see bots under stealth because that'll become more powerful. And then it'll all change again, and your base design will change because you don't want that bot to be relevant. And people will start going, oh, actually, I can use Goldfire again. And people start using Goldfire again, and they cotton on, and it just goes around in vicious
Hmm.
circles. And that's always been the way. I used Goldfire about 2 years ago with my cleanup crew. Stopped using him completely. I didn't use him for about 3 months, and now everyone's using him. Everyone's copied me.
Yeah. Well, that's why you need to keep leveling all of your bots, because you never know
Yeah.
when one of those bots is going to be useful again. I know a lot of people don't really level Ultra Magnus a whole lot, but what if sometime Ultra Magnus ultimately becomes, hey, he's really got this new core that he gets, or they tweak him a little bit, and now he's the bot to have. I'm just throwing a bot out there. I don't know if that's ever going to happen with that particular guy, but um, you know, so
Yeah. No.
like Star Saber, Star Saber and Death Source, they were the bot to have a while back, but they've
Yeah.
gone irrelevant recently. But keep leveling them, because you never know when they might come back to relevance.
True. True. I mean, I level all my bots. Every single 4 star, I get to 51 because I know if that bot becomes amazing, I can get it from 51 to 60 pretty quick. But
Yep.
that week timer, or whatever it is, 6 days from 50 to 51, that's the killer. When I'm leveling a new bot from scratch, I then generally get it from 1 to 40 as soon as I get it, and then I spend the weekend 40 to 50, quite, not intense, I wouldn't say, but constant on that one weekend. And then I get to 51, and then I either go, right, okay, we'll leave it there and see where it goes, or we get it straight to 60 again, and then wait a week or so. And I can see Grind Time there is doing level them all, but that guy's ridiculous, to be honest. The amount that he levels is crazy. Honestly, the amount of 5 stars he has, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but also a bit about playtesting. I mean, I've said to you a few times, like, oh, I think you should come in and do playtesting, and I think you'd be really good at it. And why? Why did you not come in there? I think you'd be great.
Yeah, well, I'm in there now. That's mostly just because I was finding when the new bots would come out, it would come time to show them off, and I wouldn't have them in the test account because they just, we'd constantly have to go ask. So, I don't know, about a month or so ago, I asked Dale, hey, can you get us in there at least on the list to be with all the playtesters to get the bots so that when the stream time comes around, we can actually have them. And so they did. So I'm in there. I'm seeing what you guys are chatting about, and mostly the reason why I don't do the playtesting. Again, we chatted about this briefly ahead of time. Is when I see a new bot come out and they say, yeah, we got this bot. It does this, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm just I'm just not like, well, what if it did this instead, or what if it did that instead? Yeah, they present it to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I could do that. So I just don't ever really see myself giving feedback enough to or being passionate enough about, oh no, this has to change to go do. And you and all the other playtesters, I mean, you do a great job. So I don't really feel like I need to go in there. And if I'm ever if I ever do get passionate enough about something, I'll speak up. But generally, I take things as they come and roll with the punches.
I can't remember if you were
So
in there for when Hoist come out. Was you? I can't
no, I
remember.
wasn't. I wanted to be. I wanted to be, and they said, "Oh, we'll get you in there," but I did. I never made it in.
I honestly
But
actually
it's okay.
PM.
Yeah,
Yeah, I PM Dale. I was like, you Hoist should be here for this. The one person in the game that should be here for this bot is not here. You need to get him in there, but it didn't happen sadly.
yeah.
But
It, it,
yeah,
it worked out okay. The ability is right in line with what I would expect. Some sort of a healing type of ability. I knew they weren't ever
yeah.
going to make him a healer. They weren't ever going to make him a healer, but the ability had to have some sort of a healing component to it. So I mean, the ability is right in line with what I was initially thinking.
Yeah, and it's half decent. I mean, I'd probably say
Yeah.
Hoist is better than Sunstreaker, so you are lucky in that sense. I mean, Sunstreaker had his day; he was great at one time, but yeah, it's quite depressing really when you're gonna pull a 5 star and you're thinking, I'm nailing after Sunstreaker and I'm avoiding Sunstreaker. That's when it's quite poor. Part of me wants him just for the sake of it, but I know. I mean, I talked about with Papa Blez. We did an interview about he uses a lot of bots that he loves and likes, and tends to use them sort of bots. Whereas I am pure. Is this bot useful? I don't care about its lore. Sadly, that's secondary for me. Mine is pure. I mean, where do you stand? Do you level bots determine on your affection with them, or do you just simply just go if it's useful or not? Bit of both.
I certainly love bots. I have affection for certain ones, but as far as in the game, generally, I pretty much level everything equally. But if I were to choose something, I'm not going to choose one bot just because I like the character if their ability is useless. I mean, like Nose Cone or Dust Up, not particularly, top favorite characters of mine, but say if Hoist and Hot Rod were as bad as those two, I wouldn't use them just because they're Hoist and Hot Rod. You know, turns out Hoist is pretty darn good. I definitely have him on there,
Yeah.
on one of the teams, and Hot Rod's I don't use his ability as much as I probably could, but he's still a solid bot on his own. Um, but I remember when they first were talking about Hot Rod when he was coming out. I remember saying in one of our alliance chat, I'm like, Hot Rod's coming out. It's like, I'll take out a mortgage if I have to get this guy. And then I added the corollary, unless his ability sucks.
Well, I'm totally the opposite on that. I mean, we have this sort of banter on screen when I'm in your stream on mine. I mean, I it's hard because I can see some top guys using Hot Rod in some aspects, in some ways where they'll drop, a bot that's got great damage but low health, drop Hot Rod behind, put Top Shot on him, and clear out a whole section. Amazing, but I don't want him because he ruined my childhood. So I've got to, but I understand that. But I don't know. I kind of get it, but I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't even know why. I'm a grown adult. I should be able to get over this, but I think it's just implanted in there that I'm like, no, he killed Prime. I know what this discussion is. No, he didn't. He didn't kill Prime. Prime killed Prime. Well, I don't know about that. I would like to see an alternative universe where that didn't happen and what the outcome would be. I think Prime wins.
I'm not getting pulled into this discussion. It's pretty clear that we have completely opposing opinions, and so I'm perfectly fine having my opinion and letting you be wrong. So that's fine.
And I am fine with you thinking I am wrong, but obviously being right. So,
Uh,
uh,
so
we've got to
so
talk. I
so
mean,
Mo
go on.
got it.
What did he say? I missed that one. Did
He said prime monologue too much. All right, moving on.
Yeah, let's move quickly along before we start
Well,
fighting.
we may as well argue about who's red and blue, Rumble and Frenzy, because that's a never-ending battle that's going to be out there. I don't know where we stand on that, but yeah, just in general.
Where do you stand on that? Let's start this discussion.
I, I, I'm fluid on that particular one because I grew up with the cartoon, so my personal thoughts are Rumble is blue, Frenzy is red. But I
Same,
also
yeah.
recognize that the original toy Rumble was red and Frenzy is blue, and I'm fine with that.
See, I'm not.
I always like to be the troll that goes into that conversation with that one shot from the movie where they're both colored red. But I'm not going to be the guy that says, "Well, Frenzy's actually black and Rumble's purple." It's like those guys can just get right out of here.
It is kind of bluey purple though. But
Yeah, and to be fair, they're not wrong. But come on,
eh,
it's red and blue. They're primary colors and that are essentially opposite. So that's why we use those, and we don't need to be perfectly semantically correct. So,
oh, we have Ram
sorry.
Murderer saying they're blue and blue. I mean, you can definitely get out of here. You're definitely wrong.
Yeah, sorry I
Gonna.
brought that up.
Hey, listen. This is why we have these discussions. I'm all for these. I mean, I'm a playtest.
Yeah,
You've seen that playtest chat, how heated it gets. I mean,
yeah,
I'm very much in the sort of camp of, listen, if I disagree with you, I will disagree with you. I have no problem with that. And then once we've had the disagreement, hey, get over it. It's gone with. It's finished. But
yeah.
I just think that you can't agree with everyone all the time. Everyone has a different opinion on everything, and it's just a
Yeah.
matter of who you're arguing with and how many people are backing you up, determining on whether you're right. Let's be honest.
Right. It really doesn't matter who's right. Opinions are opinions. Everybody's got them, and
True. So talking of
depends where you.
opinions,
Yeah.
favorite bots in the game. So let's say three or five. Let's pick a few out. Favorite bots that you like to use.
Well. Yeah. Well. First of all, I want to go back to when I was a guest on the stream, and Deb kind of threw this question out for me, and I hadn't thought about it preparing. I really wish I had said Sentius Magnus at the time. I think I said Star Saber, but I really wish I had said Sentius Magnus because I love the fact that they created those characters just for the game, and they're
True.
cool. I like the backstory. I'd love to hear more about them, and turns out they're actually pretty darn good. Um, of course, I like Alita One, especially I like her for power leveling. For that. One of the squads that I really enjoy right now is I've got the key ones there is I've got Optimus Primal on there, so he's directing people there, puts up the shield, and Hoist is also on there. So I activate Primal, then I activate Hoist, and they because he's directing them, they tend to stay together in a group, so I get maximum effect from Hoist's ability. And Red Alert's also on there too. So if I'm like, hey, okay, well here comes Deathsaurus at me, so I fire off Red Alert so nobody gets stunned. So I kind of like that particular squad there. Um, I'm getting a lot more use out of Warpath and Skull Smasher. I'm lucky enough to have gotten a 4-star of him on my Decepticon account. So yeah, those guys are getting some good use out of me too.
So obviously mentioning Sentius, so the big question is, would a 5-star Sentius be too overpowered? That's a big playtesting discussion that we have all the time as well.
Y- I was using him for power leveling a lot until I got Alita in there, and I found that she actually works pretty darn good. So I've been using her for a while. On a squad, honestly, I don't find a whole lot of use for Sentius Magnus.
Yeah,
He doesn't really overpower a squad being on there, even though mine's nearly 60 and all the other bots on the squad are the squad I have them on. Most of them are still in their 40s. So even there, I'm finding I'm using most of the other bots
yeah,
or more than his abilities. So um, as much as I'd like him to be like super useful, he's not. I think a 5 star of that bot would probably be okay.
yeah. I
I know a lot
agree.
of people are thinking he'd be too overpowered, but his damage, while you can do a lot of it, it's very localized
Yeah,
right around him. It's not like Star Saber, 5 star Star Saber Death Source, that'd probably be overpowered because they can swipe across the entire map. You can tear the whole thing down. Sentius Magnus has to work his way around there. He's only going to focus on one thing at a time and move to the other things.
yeah.
So even with Amalgamus on there, it works great. But I was using him in Zone 11. He could handle most of those, but even bumping up to Zone 12, he started to struggle.
Well, I think you hit a few good
So
points there, and that's my point. That I think when he came out, he was extremely powerful, but I think now we've had 5 star Laser Optimus. Someone mentioned it in the chat, and we've had 5 star Impactor who do incredible damage. I don't think he's that powerful anymore. And every one of those bots, really, I mean, you can use the G1 on Laser Optimus, but Amalgamus is the core of choice, and you can't have it on all three. So then it's that if you've got all three of those in 5 star, you've got to make a choice. And I think that's why. I mean, don't get me wrong, if there's one core you could put on all three and all powerful, then you might have two of those in the same squad, and it'd be crazy powerful and whatever. But because you've got to choose Amalgamus, then I don't think it's that bad an idea, and I don't understand the ape's reasoning because when we did the numbers, I think we worked it out that Impact tops out at like I think it was 19-20k, but obviously with Level 11 it's a bit more. I think it depends on the layout. And then Laser Optimus was like 22k, but Sentius was 16k he tops out as. So it was, with the 5 star, it was like 20%. That's still only 19-20k. It's still only the same as Laser Optimus. So I still think Laser Optimus is a 5 star. We're better than 5 star Sentius. But I don't know, for whatever reason, they feel like it's be really powerful. But I think it'd be good for the game. Like you said, that they've designed this bot to push it to be a 5 star. I think it'd be good.
right, yeah, yeah. Because if you really think about it, Impactor and Sentius Magnus, their attack style are very similar. They're practically
Yeah,
identical.
yeah.
The-
So let's start a movement of Sentius a 5 star. And then we can do the prediction videos and everyone puts him in.
yeah, yeah, I'd be on board that train. Just you like I said before on those prediction videos, I'm not making my predictions till they release the voting list because I'm not wasting a vote on a bot that they don't even put in the list.
True, true. I mean, they are good fun for those that don't know. I mean, me, yourself, and we had Trios in the past and Alpha Prime, and we've had Grind Time recently that we do. It's just a bit of fun between ourselves, and
Yeah,
we've been quite poor recently. But I think I've got a bit of a. I'm noticing a pattern. I think I've got a pattern for this next one. I'm not gonna, but I think I've got this next one in the bag.
you're not going to spill your secret. You want to keep it proprietary so you can win this round, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, one of the questions was gonna be, who do you think is gonna be in the next batch? And I know your response would be like, hey, I'm keeping my cards close to my chest.
Yeah, it's too early to tell. I haven't
Yeah.
even thought about that.
I don't think we'll see another batch now till Christmas. I think we'll see one around then. But it'd be very interesting because I think prior to batch 6, we always looked at bots and thought, oh, well, that bot's awful. They wouldn't make that one. And then when they brought Blades and Smokescreen and Laser Optimus out, everyone was like, oh, this batch is awful. And then when we saw what the playtesters did with it, it's now anyone's game and it could be anyone. I mean,
Yeah,
Dust Up could be a 5 star. Nose Cone could be a 5 star. I feel like that's going to be one of your picks regardless.
I think it really turned around with the Cheetor and Black Arachnia because I remember
Yeah,
when that batch was first announced, everybody was like, "Oh, why are they putting them in there? They're the absolute worst to get." No, whatever. I hope I don't get them. They're terrible, but they got the buff, and
yeah.
then they were the pick of that batch,
Yeah, I
and
think I pulled him
they
about 2 weeks before the buff. So I was furious and I started leveling him, and then was quite lucky that it got corrected quite quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, did you pull Cheetor 5-star?
Yeah, I was still following you at that point.
Yeah, we're
we were
going to talk about that a bit
we
in a
were
bit.
still in sync up to that point.
Yeah, well, later on we're going to talk conspiracy theories where we touched upon it on before the stream, but we'll talk about that a bit later on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it is a bit peculiar. But and we can't obviously talk to you on the stream without talking about the funny names that you give to the bots. I mean, I call Liz Optimus Shoulder Pads Prime now just simply because you did. I mean, there's some more. I mean, who else have you got names for? There's a few, isn't there? I couldn't remember them all.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, he's definitely one of them. Because I mean, seriously, he's got huge shoulder pads,
Yeah,
right? But you know, Monkey Prime for
look, yeah,
Optimus Primal.
I call them exactly the
I'm
same.
Yeah, we've gone a few different places, and some of these are inspired by people in the chat. I got a couple different places by for Beast Wars Megatron. Some people calling him Barney Megatron because he's purple, or was Armada Megatron is forget what we call him.
Oh, avocado. Yeah. Av-
Avocado Megatron.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. Avocado Megatron. Yes.
it's quite
Yeah,
amusing.
somebody had thrown out Bullwinkle, which is true because of the horns. That one didn't really stick though. But Avocado Megatron, yeah, I like that.
It's quite amusing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think you should start a little series of these. Every time they bring out a new bot or something, bring out a funny thing. Because, like I said, it's quite amusing. And like I said, even I use them in general chat. Shoulder Pads Prime, Monkey Prime is a general name now. It really has stuck.
Yeah. But if you think about it, it's really just kind of like the duplicates of the leaders. You know, you've got Optimus Prime and Megatron, and then the other ones are the ones that have gotten the nicknames. So you've got Monkey Prime, and instead of two Optimuses, and Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal sounds so much alike. And I think that one I kind of went with the whole truck not monkey argument from back when Beast Wars was first announced. So he's Monkey Prime. So.
Well,
I don't know.
I've got a nickname for Hot Rod, but it's I can't name it on stream. I can't repeat it. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. All right, go ahead and throw that troll face up on you.
So we've got a few more questions from Discord, and the first question, which is from Firefly123, and it is which do you prefer, your Decepticon account or your bot account?
uh, if I had to pick one, I'd definitely stick with my bot account just because that's the one that I've consistently played. That was the one I started with. I didn't start my Decepticon account until about a month after, and really, I only started that because at the time we didn't have that whole factions feature. If you wanted to play as Decepticons, you needed a whole entirely another account. And so I played them for a while. Then when the factions came around, that's when I noticed that the Decepticon account kind of slid to the wayside. I've recently revived it the last month or two. I don't remember. I'm enjoying playing it now because it's kind of new. And it's not quite so full with bots like the Autobot account is. I'm able to pull, actually be successful with crystal pulls on that one, more so than on the Autobot account more. So there's a little bit more excitement on that right now. Plus the leveling is also going on there still. But so I'm having fun with both. But if I were ever to go back down to just one account, it's going to be the Autobot account for sure.
Yeah. I mean, how you find the Decepticon account? I mean, like you said you picked it up and then you sort of went a bit of wayside and then you took it over. Is it easier now after, I mean, we obviously talking playtesting a lot about catch-up mechanics and improvement. Do you feel like there is a lot of catch-up mechanics a lot easier now or at that level?
It helps having the experience of
Yeah.
leveling bots. Like I was already at like headquarters 14. I think I had already gotten to headquarters 14. So at the time, Prime I quit before Prime Cores came around, so I had no Prime Cores. I had no 5 stars. I had no Z Energon. So one of the first things that I did was I made sure I hit the elimination mode as hard as I could to try to get as much as I could. But my bots were not leveled very high, so I could not earn a lot, even using every last bot that I had. So it
Yeah.
took me about 4 weeks to get to that 200K to unlock my second slot in the research lab. That was one of the very first things I said, okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hit this as hard as I can. I mean, I was using level 1 Autobots
Wow.
in Zone 6, and I didn't win all of them, but I was trying to try to get as close as I could. And yeah, so since I'm not at that level, since I finally reached that, and I'm not even close to the level of needing Z Energon for anything else, I don't even touch elimination mode right now. Um, but yeah, it's very difficult still, I think. But I just I don't have as much time to play as much as I could. I was playing a lot when I first started back onto it, but I've had to slow back down a little bit because I was other things were kind of slipping, which is probably why I quit playing that second account in the first place.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to completely abandon it right now. But Energon, as always, is the hardest thing. Bot upgrades,
Yeah.
spark, ability upgrades. Energon is the hardest thing to come by. That's why I do like when they throw out 10 million Energon or something in some event or whatever. I am so thankful for
Yeah.
that because that helps huge as far as catch up.
Yeah.
I know for a lot of people, top level, yeah, whatever, no big deal or whatever. But when you're still trying to, when you've got a lot of bots that you want to try to level, having that Energon store in your inventory is amazing.
Yeah. Even for top guys in the game. I mean, I can survive quite well on the energy and ally I get from wars, but like for example, I mean those that have Discord know there's two cores that I really want. A G metal volatile mixture from my sea spray and a G metal wall buster for my sludge. So I went through a stage when I didn't have sea spray and wasn't using sludge of really going for base cores, so it's my base for wars. But then as soon as I started using sludge again, I wanted that wall buster, and as soon as I got sea spray, I wanted that volatile mixture. And I've been trying to pull it for ages, and I pulled it finally the other day. But I had like 2 million energon. I was like, next week I need energon to put another bot in the lab, so I know I'm going to need 6 million for that. I was like, then I've got to do a few core changes because it's going to be a leaderboard weekend. So I know I need to max my storage out. So that's like 40 million I need. And then I've also now
Hmm.
got to level this core up. I've got the cores to do it, but I need the energon. And that's where I was like, storage. And that's why I will just go for the storage, just level that core up because I've got far too many things next week, and I'm not going to wait 2 weeks. It's like a new toy. So yeah,
Right.
that's where even I need that. Even I need those resources. So like you said, it's really good to have them, and it's good to have them in the game. And it was really good the other day in the stream that the Eights mentioned they're going to look into bringing out a third research slot, which I think is really good. I mean, how it's going to work, will it just be for 3 stars or certain levels? But to be honest, I don't really care. It's needed. Personally, I'd like them to change research times, but I understand that maybe that's quite a big job, and adding a research lot might be just a bit easier than reviewing the whole lot. But yeah, just glad that they.
Yeah. Also, if you change the time, then what about everybody who's already suffered through those long times? So it's kind of unfair to them. Whereas adding an extra slot is just as equally fair to everybody. That might be something they're thinking about.
Yeah, I kind of get that, but then I just think that if you sort of take that view, I mean, I've been in other games and they've sort of took that view on some things, and play testers have said, well, that's not fair on me. But personally, I mean, I've been through that
Mm.
and I understand it, but I don't mind the lower guys catching up a bit and getting that
No,
opportunity.
I don't
You
mind
know,
either. I
so
just that I can see how others might be upset
yeah,
with
I
that.
think
I
yeah,
personally is like, whatever. I've already spent the thing. It's like, if I buy a bot or anything else and I see it next week on sale for $10 off, I don't get upset. I mean, well,
yeah,
I thought it was worth what I paid for it at the time. Sure, it would have been great if I'd have
exactly.
wait got it on sale, but it was worth what I got, worth what I paid for it at the time. So,
Yeah, I think free to
but
play
I know
guys get a bit
people
of
who
a
do get upset.
So I just think free to play guys get a bit of a hard time in this game. Like it's very monetized, and any way we can sort of help them to catch up. I mean, I don't think they'll ever be equal to pay to play weight players, but any way we can try and help
Yeah.
them catch up, then I think yeah, brilliant. And yeah, research slot, more like I said, more ally, more energon, the starter bundle, all these things have been really good for those guys. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And since you say a massive respect to anybody who's free to play and is still playing
yeah,
and have made it to getting even 5 stars and a strong squad and stuff like that. Kudos to you guys. But because if I was treating this game like I did any other game and chose not to spend on it, I'd have quit long ago.
Yeah, we
Because
were
I
talking about
I
that
don't thi- I
today.
don't think I would have handled that free to play grind.
Yeah, we were saying that those hour cooldowns when you get to level 60 are a killer. It really, and the time it takes for your fuels to regen, that's the killer bit where it gets a bit boring. So that's where you need the money. But I also think that's why the game's lasted so long and why it is because it's a balancing act. I can't get it.
Yeah,
Uh,
once I started in other games getting to where it was like just really super long wait times to do anything, it became very easy to forget about that game
yeah,
altogether.
I agreed. I agree. So the next question is from Sharksy, and they've asked, what was your first figure? So this could be as a
What was my
kid or anything, really. Yeah.
my first figure? Well, I have to say I cannot remember which was my first actual Transformer, but as far as the first transforming robot, um, it's not this particular figure, but this character. I do remember I was in Japan.
Oh
Uh,
my
as
God.
as a kid, I had no idea what this was, but I was like a 6 or 7 year old brat, and they wanted to shut me up. Took me into the toy store, and I found this cool little jet that turned into a little robot man. And and I don't have it anymore, but it was probably a pre-GoBot, the Eagle
I
Robo. In
was about
fact,
to
that's what
say
this guy
that.
is.
I had that GoBot as a kid. Not the
Yeah,
exact same one, but I can tell it's the same character. That's why I said, "Oh
yeah.
my
This
God,"
this
when I
is a
saw it. Yeah, I had that character.
yeah this is a pretty recent. They made them very detailed and articulate
Oh, excuse me.
in the current line.
Yeah, I
But
remember.
yeah,
Wow.
so
Like,
it was Leader One or probably Eagle Robo to be truthful.
oh, I can't even
But
tell you the
yeah,
name
so
of it.
that's what, and I guess that's what the bug that bit me.
Yeah. Wow, you took it back there. I've not. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I bet I've even still got that somewhere. That model, that GoBot. Yeah. Wow. You
Yeah,
just took it
but
back
as
there
far
by
as
releasing.
actual Transformer, I couldn't tell you. The other one that really comes to mind as far as getting, I was very proud of this, and I actually still have this one. I don't have it right here with me, but the G1 Jazz,
Ah, yeah.
but it was the Cookie Crisp Jazz. I remember we got the Cookie Crisp cereal. If you saved enough of those little barcodes, you send in a check for like $6, and those barcodes you send them your address, and they'll send you a Jazz in the mail.
Wow. Nice.
So that's the one I got, and I found and for whatever reason they actually put an extra sticker on the door to cover up some of like the sponsorship logos or whatever. So and that but I remember doing that, and so it's not like the sticker clued me in. Oh, that's what this must be. No, I remember vividly because I was very proud of that, being able to get it myself. Uh, you know,
Yeah, I think Jazz is one of the few that avoided me as a kid. I mean, we had a bit of a shortage that in the UK, and I can see that apparent now with the current figures. There's certain ones that you just cannot get over here, but I also know some things that I think you can get over here that are a bit more rare in America. I was talking to Pablo's about that as well, and even he said
yeah.
that he's written these. Obviously, these I keep calling them series, and he shouts at me for it. He's like, "Don't call them series." Um, he's written these comics and he can't get them. And I looked on YouTube and oh, they're
Hmm,
available in the UK. He's like, I cannot get them. And he even written these things, and he can't get his
really.
his his own comics like in America. He's like, they're not available. They're only available in the UK. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they're I don't much collect the hard version of the comics, the actual print comics.
yeah, that's what he's talking
But
about. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you would think if he's the writer, you'd think they'd have sent him some.
Well, I think
Um,
they sent some like of the original drawings, things like that, but not the actual finished product hardback. Like in the collection, I think there's a collection. You know better than me, maybe,
yeah,
but I
but
think there's a
still,
collection of
you
so
think they
many.
would have sent you think they would have sent the
Wow.
finished product to the guy who wrote the darn thing. But
You'd think, wouldn't
what do I know? I'm not in that industry, so.
you? Maybe you should be.
Yeah, I usually I usually read the comics on like one of the apps. Um, I'm very behind on the comics though.
Would you not write your own comic?
Huh?
Would you not write your own comic? You know your stuff. And that's not something you'd even.
You know, if I tried something like that, I probably would quit before it finished because I actually, way back before I got into YouTube, I had a Facebook page. It's still up there. I just don't do much with it. But if you go look up on Facebook, look for Engineer Hoist. I did some toy comics a few years back, and I, I I've left two or three different storylines hanging, just forever.
Fair enough.
So.
The
So
next
no,
question.
I don't see I'd be able to pull a whole comic book, but I mean this is like 5 panels or something.
Got to start somewhere.
So
You never know.
yeah,
So the next question's from Elf. They've asked, what do you think of Hoist as a bot? I mean, we touched upon it a bit earlier, but and do you use him more because of your affection?
yeah. I was as we were talking about that, I was kind of like, I think that's a question coming up, and then
Yeah.
we kind of answered it, but yeah, we'll talk about it again. Uh, I'm very happy. Voice is finally in the game, and so that is now my avatar forever and more in the game.
Obviously.
Uh, so, um, but yeah, I think he looks great. He's based on the the Siege, right? Mostly the Siege toy. Uh,
Maybe,
so
yeah.
so very very happy. And the ability was great. One of the things, going back to the visit to Space Ape, I was saying, hey, how about when can we get Hoist in the game? And they're like, okay, sure, we'll write it down. This was Josh at the time, and so who would a counterpart be? So I threw out a counterpart. It was not Crankcase, was not the counterpart. And so, well, what about an ability? And I don't know if I had a really strong ability proposal, but I said definitely got to be some kind of healing type of ability. It doesn't have to be a healer, but some kind of a healing ability. So so I'll take the credit for that.
Oh, cool.
But I think it's great. Like I said before, I think it turned out great. I actually do like him a lot, and he works great on a team that you can keep bunched up together, like with the Optimus Primal ability.
Cool, cool. I think I had a slight issue with the video, so I apologise. That's the case. It seems like it's lagging a bit. I'm not too sure why. I've looked at the frame rate. I don't know why the frame rate seems okay, but I apologise. The video's quite poor. We're going to see Hoist in some funny situations, so I apologise, guys. I've adjusted the frame rate, and we'll see how that goes. But I apologise. I think the sound's still good. The sound still's working really well, but yeah,
Cool.
I apologise. Like you said, these things happen sadly, but yeah. As long as it sounds good, we can still see. So I want to give a shout out though to Soldier as well. He's become a member. So yes, we mentioned Soldier earlier, who used to do a lot of Earth Wars content.
Hey.
So yeah, welcome to the stream, brother. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. The next question is from Leco Phobot. And they've asked, name a character that's not in the game, and what ability would you give them?
Yeah, well, I'm not good on abilities, so I'm going to pass on that answer. Um, but I've got a few here. I did a little bit of thinking on this one too. First of all, I think it would be cool to see this guy. This is the Alicon in here. Maybe next time they want to do a cross faction bot, very similar to Gnaw. So it'd be cool to see that guy in the game, especially since it was recently released in Earthrise. Also, we've got Six Gun in the game.
Yeah.
He's one of the partners for Metroplex. Why not Brunt to be Triptychon's partner? We can get him in there, or we can go even further. We've got Scorponok and Fort Max in the game. How about Fast Track and Cog?
Yeah,
Maybe
there's some.
get these guys in the game. You know?
I was expecting more along the lines of, you say Blur and who else is not in the game? Brawn,
Everybody
bots like that.
says
But
Blur.
true,
Everybody
exactly,
says
yeah,
Wreck.
exactly, yeah.
Everybody says Blur. Everybody says Wreckar. Everybody says Gears.
True,
I was trying to think
true.
outside the box with these
No, I
guys.
like that.
So.
That's a good point.
But
Yeah.
yes, I totally agree. Why don't we have Blur yet? Why don't we have Wreckar yet? I would love to see those guys in the game. But everybody say it's Blur, so it's kind of like why my username's not Hot Rod and it's Hoist instead. I want to be different than everybody else.
Yeah.
So
I can see some people are just saying this camera like, yeah, apologies guys, I'm not too sure. Like I said, the frame rate is standard, but I'm not too sure where it's going. But I don't want to change it too much. I don't want to lose Hoist completely. So we've still got him in voice. That's the main thing. We're still here. So yeah, I don't want to mess with it too much, so to speak. Cool. Okay, so we've sort of touched upon most things. Now we're talking about your account. Obviously, you're right about account, and talking about the 5 stars you've got, bots, base. What sort of level are you looking at? How many 5 stars bots have you got? What level are they?
yeah. Okay, I see. It looks like the camera. It's the camera that you're seeing in the Skype. Let me see if I can do something on this end.
Oh, well
Would
done.
that make it
I
a
think,
little bit better?
yeah, I think I sorted it.
Kind of
Well
look
done.
around.
See, this is why Hoist is here. You see, a man of experience. Has that sorted it?
Well, hey, that's the thing with these. There's so many moving parts when you're doing something like this, and I think there's still a little bit of lag there, but we'll roll with it. Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch like Hot Rod is asking like the weaponizers. Yeah, Brunt, Fast Track, and Cog. They're all weaponizers like Six Gun, but I don't see them as being weaponizers in the game. Again, like Six Gun, they'll just be the bots. Um,
Yeah, I
so
agree.
you asked
Yeah.
about 5 star bots.
Yeah.
Uh, so on my Autobot account, I think this should be coming across to you.
Yep. That's come across fine. Yep.
So there's my 5 star bots as of right now. So Alita 1, Rhinox, Cheetor, Blaster, Prowl, Skyburst, who was the first one, Sludge, Monkey Prime, Ratchet, Blades, and Hotspot, who's the most recent.
Nice.
That's my my 5 stars on my Autobot account.
So, obviously we can't talk about 5 star bots and without talking about conspiracy theories. We can't. And we'll
Yep.
touch upon this. So, between our channels, it's well documented that we literally pulled bot for bot for, is it 5 pulls? Was it in a row? I think.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, I pulled Skyburst first. You pulled
Then I
Skyburst,
pulled.
and then the next batch came out, which I pulled
I think it
from
was Cheetor next.
Cheetor next. The next one, I mean, I think then I pulled. Who was your next one after that? Did I pull someone?
That, I think we both pulled Prowl,
Yep, Prowl was the first in that batch. Yep,
and then we were still going after that same batch, and then I think we both pulled Sludge,
yep, that's true as well. Yep, and then
and then by that time you said, "Forget this, I'm going after Goldfire,"
I think did you pull Blaster next?
or we might have gone Blaster next,
I think Blaster
because
was
yeah, that was the
next.
order I
Yeah,
did it.
and then I think
Prowl, Sludge,
yeah,
Blaster, Ratchet, then Alita was the order I got them in.
yeah, I think I went Sludge, Prowl, Blaster, and then I think the Goldfire batch came out. It was the brand new
And then
batch, and I think I just pulled from it. Not because of what I mean, I was impressed with Goldfire, but I think it was more just because of the new batch. I thought I've got to go with the new batch.
yeah,
I want to like go towards that new toy and things like that, and show up a bit that I might have something people don't. And like I said, I pulled Goldfire. No, actually, I think I pulled Sandstorm first. So I pulled Sandstorm, then Goldfire, then I think I went back to that batch, and you pulled Elita 1 next. I think that's then when we went Wayward.
well, Alita 1 was the last one. I pulled everybody from that batch. She was the very last one.
So you pulled
I think
Ratchet, then
it
Elita
was
1.
down to her and Ratchet, and then I pulled Ratchet first,
I can't remember. I
or
pulled.
fourth really.
I pulled them both together, and I can't remember which one I pulled. But then on the latest batch as well, did you pull Rhinox first or Blades first?
Rhinox.
That's where we went different. I think I pulled Blades first, then Jetfire and Smokescreen. So that's where we sort of separated. But you're talking 6 pulls
Yeah,
where we were in
it's pretty
unison.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
And literally, even now, I think if I went and pulled from batch 6, I would pull hotspot. I honestly look at your polls and think that's what I'd probably pull now. And
Well,
whether I want that button or
hotspot
not.
was the one I got from the anniversary crystal, so that wasn't really.
Ah, right, okay.
So that one, that one doesn't really count because that was
True,
the
true.
anniversary crystal.
Yeah, because anniversary I pulled Snarl, which is still at level 40. Don't really using that much. But when you get your next 5-star, where do you think you're going to pull from? Any ideas? Any ones you want in particular?
Man, I'm so far away. I'm not entirely sure what I'd go for at this point. Um,
I mean, I'm still 2,000 shards away, but I'm still thinking about it even now. As soon as I
yeah.
pull one, I'm like, right, who's next? That's it.
Well, let's go see where would that be. This is definitely an interesting batch.
Yeah,
I might go here. Um, Legacy 7 is definitely a good batch. I might go stay in this one because
some good picks.
Laser Optimus I think would be great because when he got that buff, I definitely started using my 4-star a lot more, and he's doing great. Uh, since I pulled Breakneck over on my Decepticon account, I've really got a more appropriate appreciation for him. So I'd like to see that smokescreen.
A little bit of pew pew
And of course,
action.
Jet. Yeah, yep. And then of course, Jetfire. Having like that really strong uh, one shot. Well, at least in the zones that I attack, type of a bot, I think would be great. So I'd probably stay in Legacy 7 and finish this out.
Jetfire
Uh,
can one shot everything at max level and max the old core. He can one shot anything. Literally,
yeah.
I think the only thing it can is when you put a shock tower or MDS next to a shield generator. That's the only time. Or a shock tower with, I think a shock tower on hard mode in Prime. I don't think it can. But everything
Yeah.
else, maybe cannons with armor, maybe. But yeah, beam lasers, launchers, even next to shield gens, the MDS not next to a shield gen, takes them all out. So yeah, it's a really good one-shot bot. I just worry about HQ 18. And before I get the questions, no, HQ 18 has not been announced. I'm just saying that when, because it
It's
will.
it's inevitable.
Yeah, it is inevitable one day, one time.
One day,
But
sometime.
I worry about one-shot bots when that happens. But yeah, for now, he's on my war team. I use him every single war. So I've actually got Smokescreen. It doesn't actually fit in, but that's just because of my team composition. But I would love to get Smokescreen. I'd love to get Bumblebee. I'd love to get Sea Spray in our team. And I'm sort of like building a second team right now and seeing how that goes just in resource raids. But yeah, all very good bots. Very good.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've started doing on my leveling team is I take Elite One in and the bot that I'm leveling, and I recently started taking in Smokescreen as my backup bot. So I always had like a backup bot to help finish fighting or whatever. But usually, if Alita's not finishing it, um, it's because there's outpost bots that she popped that you couldn't avoid. So I was like, well, what if I just drop Smokescreen and snipe the outpost bots, and that'll free up Alita to go finish off the HQ.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, a lot of people doing sacrifice techniques, so you can use Alita for that, and you can use Goldfire for that,
yeah.
and well, pretty much any bot, let's be honest. But range is also important as well. But yeah, some decent bots. Um, and talking about conspiracy theories as well. I mean, the other conspiracy theory that I think about is, and we talked again about before the stream, is combiners. Now, I've talked to Dale about this, and I said, listen, I'm sure that certain accounts are geared to having certain class of bots rare, and having one combiner bot is different for everyone, but one combiner bot rare. And Dale was like, no, that's not a thing. It's pure random. I was like, I would love to see the figures on how much people spend collecting the 4 combiner bots and how much they spend collecting that
Versus the
one.
fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay. So I will believe that it's probably not intentional that to
yes,
have I believe that it's not intentional to have there be one bot that's harder for everybody, but the evidence is overwhelming.
I agree.
The evidence is overwhelming. There's something in there that's causing it. Maybe it's a seed for the random number generator that's causing something like that, or there's something hidden in there that's causing it because everybody has that one, and it's
Yeah.
not always the same one. So there's something about the account which determines which of the ones. Uh, but the evidence is overwhelming. It definitely happens, even if it's not intentional.
I agree. I said exactly the same thing to Dale. And I said, listen, you might not have programmed it in, but it's in there. It's definitely in there. But
Yep.
yeah, he said he'd look into it, to fair. I like Dale because he doesn't take things as face value. He say, well, I'll go and look at that and I'll see what we can see. But we've been saying this for years, and the apes, I think, whether they don't know, whether they ignore it, but yeah, 100%.
And I'll bet if they ever find what's causing it, it'll probably fix Prime Rush. It'll stop bots from wall humping,
No, not a
and
chance. I mean, like we talked about the visit to Space Haven, and I always say this, and this is what really like when I went there, I thought I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna ask them outright. I'm not having this anymore. Why have you not fixed Prime Rush? And so we went into the. You mean when you were there, you might see a little kitchen bit they have where they all make seem to make breakfast there, like a little breakfast bar. And I was talking with Deb and someone else, and I'd love to be able to mention their name, but I can't. But I was talking to them. And in one of the programs at the time, it wasn't Yanis, it wasn't Fabian, it was someone else that was involved in the game. But anyway, and I said, right, I've got to ask you. Well, I've got you here. How we're fixing Prime Rush is the most, his biggest spot in the game is Optimus Prime. He is the front figure, and it doesn't work. How we're gonna fix him? And the reaction was, oh, don't, please don't, honestly, like, don't. I was like, what? They were like, we have tried everything. Do you really think we want the main figurehead for the game being broken? We don't want this, and we've tried everything, put so much resources into it, and we seem to fix it, and it just breaks something else. We just can't get it right. And they were adamant about that. I was like, oh, right, okay. I'm sorry I asked. But they was like, no, honestly, we're so dedicated to try and get this fixed. And I think that they're as, frustrated as us, I think.
yeah, well, it's again, talk about evidence. They have shown over the years, Space Ape I'm talking about, that they are listening to us,
Yeah,
and they will fix things for us, and they will try to do whatever they can within their power to give us a better play experience. If they're ever not doing something, it's because they're not able to.
yeah.
Um, especially something that high profile or whatever, and that makes, and I believe they've said that as much on streams before.
Yeah.
That it's like, look, we've tried to fix this, we just can't find the right thing.
Yeah. Well, my biggest criticism around that, and I've said this even to Dale, and I said that my criticism is not of Yanis's and Fabian's work, it's the criticism of the company's infrastructure to not give them the resources to be able to fix these things. But like Yanis said, that there's 4 or 5 of them working on the game. If they made that 6, then people would want 7. If they made it 7, people would say 8. They always want more. It's getting a balance, but I believe, from what I've been told, is they're now changing the length of sagas to be not from 4 weeks to 5, I think, maybe something like that, or from 5 to 6 or something, to give them that extra week, give them a bit of extra time to work on other things, because they realise that Ability 11, they set out this year saying Ability 11 will be done by the end of the year, everybody will have it, and they know they can't fulfill that now because they've had to put it on the back burner so many times, and they just don't have the time. And like I said, my solution was that the solution would be to have more people, but I think they've worked it out that they can, you know, elongate the events a bit
Hmm.
more and give them a bit more time, which I'm glad about. And hopefully we can see some more bugs fixed faster and not as much focus on new bots and focus on more content, newer content. And I think that's a step in the right direction. So, I've always said I'm glad that they're addressing it. That's the thing for me. If they say
Yeah.
to me, listen, we're addressing this, like, it's going to take time. Like, if they come out tomorrow and said, listen, Titans are taking its time, it's going to be a month later than what we said, I get that. Things crop up, things happen. I'm fine with that. But I think they need
Yeah.
to be a bit more open with us on plans of what they're doing. So if we notice tomorrow that Goldfire was broken, they should be able to come out and say, okay, Goldfire is broken. We're not going to fix it this week. We're probably looking at 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. We'll get it fixed, but it could take a bit of time. And that's better than ignoring it and everyone's going, when you fixing it, when you fixing it, when you fixing it, and
But
we have to
yeah,
answer those
but
questions.
on the other hand, when you do put out a plan, now people are gonna be like, well, you told us it would be at this time,
Well,
and now it's
yeah,
not.
people are
It's happened.
impatient.
So I think that's probably why they don't like to tell us it's definitely going to be this date until they've got it done. Because if they miss that date, now people are upset.
True,
So
true.
I know everybody wants to have that schedule and wants to have those dates,
Yeah,
and but I can totally understand why why they try to sidestep those answers.
yeah, kind of. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've put here pulling bots versus leveling bots. I mean, I think that you may have at least the same amount of bots. I mean, maybe not a few 5 stars, but you've definitely got the same amount of level as amount of bots as me. So, I mean, okay, money involved. Let's talk about money. Let's not talk about that. But, do you not have the aspirations to level more bots and maybe go up a level and start warring at a higher level? Or
Well, it's every bot that I get, I get them. I basically level like even all my 2 stars. I get them to level 30 because I mean it's nothing.
yeah,
Um, and the 3 stars I usually try to get to 40. But I definitely focus more on the fours and fives. So I mean, if
yeah,
I've got a new 4 or 5 that I'm still working on, that I'll take the 3 to 30. Then he can sit there and wait. Generally, unless it's a bot that I'm really excited about, usually once it hits 40, I put them out into rotation and slowly work them up.
yeah.
Um, and otherwise, I think Cup was, and maybe Elite One were the only ones that I can think of that I really just power leveled, grinded through straight to 50.
Yeah.
Um, most of them, I stopped my power leveling at 40, just because I, I, I I I am not grind time.
Even I'm
I'm
not
like
grind time.
I'm the opposite of grind time. The grind
You're chill time.
is tough on me. Every now and then I'll sit down. I'll get myself a super battle bundle with 500 cells, and I'll go run through them or something like that. Uh, but I don't do that very often. So
Well, the big question is,
uh,
do you use a Cup Lagoon?
no, I've never done that.
Really? You should
Yeah, I
look
don't
into
think
it.
I've got a number of Golden Lagoon cores. I don't think I've ever used a single one.
Oh man, I mean, next time
So,
you do decide SBB, I would advise you definitely do that because talking of value for money, it saves so much money when you're getting 400 KXP per battle in Zone 14. I mean, and you only need a mid-level cup, so I'd definitely
I've
recommend
seen
it, honestly.
videos. They're impressive. They're
Yeah,
impressive. And if I ever get that itch, I'll definitely go back and check your video.
definitely, definitely do. I mean,
A little shameless plug for anybody who hasn't seen them. Go check out Sunstreaker Wozza's lagoon leveling videos.
well,
They're amazing.
I always say to people, listen, if you're going to watch one video of mine, go and watch that. And that is honestly the truth what I say. I don't care if you watch anything else because it will save you so much money and get you so much XP and get you leveling bots so much quicker than I ever did back in when I used to level bots. That is it's never been so good with that technique to level bots. And you don't need a ridiculous level high cup. You need to obviously adjust the zone, but it's so easy now. I don't think even the apes envisioned it. I think it's actually been a problem because people have maxed out so quickly because of it. And players like me who are second tier have now become first tier from taking advantage of it. And it's yeah, if you go and watch only one video of mine, honestly, go check it out, guys. If you are planning on buying cells and you've got a decent level cup, just yeah, please go and do that, please. Anyway, so then, how are you also finding the game generally as a whole?
I still like it. I still enjoy it. Sometimes sometimes it's a little tough to get in there and get all the battles done during the week. Um, but I still hit them on hit the events on the weekends. Like I say in my tips and tricks videos. One of the first one, play every event.
Yeah,
Um, I do. I go. You have to. Especially if you're in an alliance, and if the alliance has a minimum, you need to hit that for sure. And if you're not in an alliance that is playing, then you know, find another alliance, because I mean that's where you really get your benefits, because they've been so generous with crystals, shards,
Yeah.
lately, and even resources like we were talking about before with Energon and Alloy and gold power core chips we're getting this weekend, and these are all alliance events. You got to be in an alliance that can do at least semi decent
Yeah.
during, so otherwise you can't. um you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. But I mean, but then again, at the same time, if you're fine, if you just, if that all that's not important to you, and you just like spending time with the characters, and that's fine too. That's one of the things that I like about the game. Even I see Risk is saying that in their games, different things to different people.
True.
Uh, you know, so I like just going in there, and I've got my favorite attacks that I go through, and I just like I like using those bots, and winning the battles. So it's I have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I still love the game as much. There's nothing you got to change that really, but yeah, I mean, I've talked endlessly. I don't want to talk too much about it now, but we just need something for the top end. I think now, a lot of top guys are getting to the point where they don't need to level bots. So events wise, they're taking twice as long, which means those guys are not helping lower guys, and it's a vicious circle really. And then those lower guys don't get as many resources and as many. And then they'll struggle a bit more. So I just think we need something for top guys to do, to invest into, but not 6-star bots. Let's just put it out there, not
Oh yeah,
6-star bots.
no,
I don't think anyone
no,
says like bring on 6-star bots. No one will agree to
no.
that. So, but China's got an interesting thing where you can upgrade your 5-star to a 6-star bot. So that's I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind upgrading my 5 stars to a
That's the
6-star.
only way I would want to see it.
Yeah,
I don't want to go chase a whole nother
yeah,
bot.
exactly, exactly.
So if they found some way to increase the star levels, but if you can increase a 5 to a 6, what about 4 to a 5 or a 3 to a 4? You know,
True, yeah. Well, they call it 5-star plus, they call it. And it's simply like by buying crystals, you get these other shards. I mean, it's another resource again, but
yeah,
you get these
it's
other
it's
resources, but it
basically.
gets silly, but
I've seen other games where they like have a certain number of stars, and then you can buy this other stuff, and you can make the different stars red.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's basically what you're doing. It's like it's a 5-star bot with one red star, and I don't know. It's just it might be good to keep the top players, but it almost starts to discourage lower level players, because you just see the goalposts moving farther and farther away from you.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's a difficult balance.
It is, really, really is. Because no matter, well, let's be honest, no matter what they do for top players, if they raise the bar, it's going to shift the goalposts. But if they
Yeah.
don't and they keep the goalposts there, then it's going to keep the top players a bit frustrated. But hey, we're not paid the mega bucks to make decisions. We can just give our opinion, and it's up to the apes to decide on that. And then they're paid the
Right.
money to do that. But yeah. So is there any improvements in the game you'd like to see? Anything you'd like to see coming soon, or anything in general you'd like to see? Could be like we
Hmm.
talked about bots coming to the game, but anything else? Like, what's the big thing you would like to see come to the game next? You can't say Titans. Titans have already been announced.
Yeah. I just wish Energon was easier to get and hang on to. It's just used for so many things that
Sure.
it's, I mean, like Alloy is only used for like base building stuff, but Energon is used for bot leveling plus base stuff plus
Research.
abilities,
Yeah.
and it's just there's almost kind of wish that you didn't need Energon to do the abilities, because you already have to collect the spark.
True. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's not a bad
so
idea. That's a good
if
idea.
anything, try to take that away, or at least reduce it.
Yeah.
But there again, what about all the people who already spent all of that?
Well, wouldn't bother me. Like I said, I'm all
I don't see
for.
that ever happening. It's really more of a complaint than something to be improved.
Yeah, but
And like I said before, I am happy to see the Energon being in event items. I mean, early on, when we were first seeing it, I was like, oh yeah, you can earn 1,500 energon in this event. It's like, yeah, big whoop.
Yeah.
But now they're giving out like 10 million, 20 million. It's like that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, it increases
So
obviously participation in events as well, so it does help that as well. So, but yeah, I, g- I do agree with that about moving it. Maybe I didn't think about that. I thought about always just increasing it in events and all that. So, but maybe that's too big a change. Just increase it in events even more. So, but I said in playtest that they should put that energy on an alloy in every single event, right at the start of the event, every single one. And I think they might be going towards that. Hopefully, I mean, it wasn't just me that said it. We talked about it in playtest, and hopefully that's where they're going with it. Um, so Titans, what's your feel on the Titans? How would you feel they're coming along? What you've seen already? And
I think it's cool. I know that's what everybody was hoping for when we first heard Titans. That we want to play with them.
yeah,
We don't just want to fight them as a boss battle. And I think that's what they wanted to do. It was just taking them a while to do. I mean, you could tell Giannis was real excited being able to finally announce that. So um, I'm looking forward to it. I've said before on some of my streams, I kind of reserve my judgment on how it's going to work until we see officially how it's going to work. But
yeah,
what they laid out there in the streams seems pretty cool, and where you can earn these a new type of currency. I think it was like some certain points that you can then spend on certain upgrades for them,
like Titan
and that's
Spark,
pretty.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so you can earn some like squad buffs, or you can earn like an extra ability for them, and that's pretty cool because now you're going to have some variations between the players. When you see somebody bring Metroplex into your base, it's not always going to be the same Metroplex. Or if you see Triptychon sitting over there defending a base, it's not always necessarily going to be the exact same Triptychon sitting over there because this person's going to have a different set of upgrades than that person. You know,
yeah,
so it does add a little bit of a variation. Um, I do agree with some people thinking like having those big monsters off to the side, it's kind of a distraction. When you're
yeah,
trying, so either that or you're going to have to zoom in and then you don't even see them there. And so if you've got brought your big super strong Titan and they've got a big super strong Titan, basically they've just negated each other and you're just still doing the battle.
yeah,
Um, so it's interesting.
yeah. That's
It's
that's
interesting.
the two things for me. It's how they're gonna interact with the rest of the battle and balance. I don't. It's gonna be really hard to balance them because if a Titan should be really powerful, but then it comes to a point where if you bring a Titan, the base is gone. Which in reality, that's what should happen.
That
But
that's the
but
that's yeah that's yeah
but again, you're gonna throw that out the window a bit for the sake of
for the case
balance.
of the game that's not
Yeah,
realistic.
but then if they don't do enough damage, they're gonna look quite poor. And you're like, oh, a Titan, I might as well choose a combiner because they don't do enough damage.
You,
So it's very
you
hard to
know what I
balance
you know
it.
what I Yeah, you know what I see where they wouldn't just be completely ignored if they were equal level is going back to those like abilities that you can add to them. So like if they have a squad buff, the squad buff would still be in effect. Or if they have a
Yeah,
defense buff, the defense buff could still be in effect. So even though they're not directly causing damage to the bots attacking or the base, depending on which side it's on, they could still be impacting the battle by having those additional.
yeah, I understand that. But then when we watch that video back, the one that sticks in my mind is if you watch it back, the video that the Titan hits a mortar and fires at a mortar and doesn't kill it. Now my Prowl can one shot a mortar at level 60 yards, so a Titan should be able to wipe out three maybe. So then you start to think, well, like you said, in that sense of that, but then in terms of scale, they need to. I mean, maybe that's had a massive cooldown, we can only use it once, maybe, but it should be massively powerful, in my opinion. But again, it's so hard. It's so hard because every time you sort of think that way, and then you think, well, that's going to make base design even easier, and top guys are crying out at the minute to make it harder. So, how would you make it harder
Yeah,
for?
yeah, and it appeared that they were focusing on the closest defense too. I'd like it to be, their range be
Hmm.
basically the entire base.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So even if it's a random, or maybe you can like direct. direct them, because like instead of hitting the power or the battle boost, you can like maybe tap the combiner and direct it to a certain place. Maybe you get one use per battle or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But yes, I agree. It needs to be basically one shot almost anything.
yeah. I agree, definitely,
It
definitely. All right, well that's all the questions we've got. So I want to say a big thank you to Hoist for appearing on the channel. And if you want to just give out some random codes to anyone in the chat, I mean you can scroll or anyone that sort of asked a question in the
oh
stream, anyone that's maybe joins your channel that you recognise, whoever you like, you can give a few out, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I didn't really think about how I'd give them out.
I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do.
Yeah.
If you're in my Discord, in the section for Hoist, I will put a link to your Discord, and you can do a bit of competition there if you want about this stream or something we've talked about, whatever you like. And then, yeah, we can give some codes away there. It's up to you if you want to do that.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I would say, trying to think of a code word. Something that people wouldn't necessarily say.
Hot Rod killed Prime.
Yeah, no, that'll disqualify you from codes for everything else.
I don't
I
know. I'm stumped.
have 7 codes. First 7 people go over to my Discord and type grapple.
There we go.
Grapple. Go into like general, just the regular general chat. Type grapple, and I'll pick the first 7.
Cool. I like that. I like that. So yeah, if you're here now and you are in Hoist Discord, go and type in grapple in the general chat. Is that it? Yeah.
Yep.
First 7 people. And mods, can you just post a link to Hoy's channel in our general chat so that anyone that's not in there now can sort of jump in there dead quick? To one of the mods if you can. Appreciated. And yeah, I like that. I like that. It's good. It's something where you have to be in my Discord, have to be in yours, or watching at the time. Yeah, it links it up well. Cool. So I did mention at the start as well that we are going to be giving away some codes. So we are going to transfer over to the game and do some crystal cracking and give some more codes away. You know how we do this. We're pulling a 5-star combat. We'll discuss that in a minute. But we might lose Hoist. We're going to lose the video feed. So hopefully he's still going to be around. When we tried this earlier, it slowed everything down a bit and the game really struggled. So if it does struggle a bit, I apologise because we're trying to do so many things at once. We've got Skype in there, we've got the cam in there, we've got Google in there, we've got OBS in there. So we've got so many things going at the minute. And then we'll have the game as well, which takes a lot of resources. So if that does happen, I want to say thank you to Hoist. Big thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I think long overdue. And hopefully we can have you on in a different aspect in the future, doing something else,
Sure.
something different. We're doing quite a few things. We do the base rinsing and we do a few other things we've got in the works. So yeah, it'd be good to have you back on again. Cool.
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
And if you are still around when we do crystal cracking, we'll try and get you to guess as well what we're going to pull. So if you, I think I don't know, but yeah.
I'll stick around.
I always get some
I'll stick
codes
around.
out
We'll
to those
see how
who
it
get it
goes.
right. So yeah. So we'll transfer over to the game, and then we'll see how that goes. So here's hoping that it loads all right. I can hear we've still got Hoist. Let's hope it all doesn't crash. Keep your fingers crossed. So yeah, we have got a 5-star combat. So if the game loads up fine, it's all working. You know what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you which batch I'm picking from. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you my reasonings for it. and I will open the chat up for a few minutes where everyone can have their guesses. If you guess which 5-star I am going to pull, then you will win yourself a Sunstreaker Wozza stash crystal. And I will open the chat up for a few minutes where everyone can have their guesses. Hoist, I've got I've got my sound echoing through yours.
That's where you can hear me.
Yeah.
That's oh yeah, 'cause I muted it in the one place. Hang on.
Hey, it's okay if you want to talk, though. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just trying to pull up your stream.
No,
So
it's okay. It's okay. Let's be honest. It could be worse. It could be grind time, and we could just crash the system completely and not be able to do anything. What do we call him now? Grey time. When it screams, it's grey. Okay, so it has loaded. I mean, apologies for the background. I'm not loading the game up again. It's just a bit of a glitch. And here we are. Yes, so we've got a 5-star combat. So, I have literally wrecked my brains on which batch to pull from. So, looking at my previous pulls, so we've got Rung and Top Shot from batch 2. Not a big fan of Smashdown, not a big fan of Dial. I actually put these two in my bottom 5 when I was thinking about the 5 worst ones. I'm not a big fan of Trenchfoot. I know some people think he or she or whatever is okay, but personally not a big fan. So I think this one is left alone. I've got the 2 picks of the batch, so they're left alone. And then I love Stripes, absolutely great pick. I wouldn't mind Glitch and Top Heavy. Top Heavy and Glitch are not in my war team, but great bots. Red Heat, bit of a wall humper right now, so I'm not too sure. And Sound Barrier, not a big fan of. So I'd like Top Heavy, would be great. That'll go straight in my war team, I think, rather than 4-star Top Shot. Glitch, not so much. I like to keep my bots together, so maybe not. And so for that reason, we're gonna actually go batch 1, believe it or not. We're going to chance Fire Drive. Now, I say that with great dread. I really don't want a Fire Drive. Fire Drive will be a Mind Wipe pull. So, for those that remember that stream, yeah, that one, I was pretty livid with Mind Wipe. So, I wouldn't want Fire Drive. But the reason I chose this one is Flak and Taraxodon are both on my war team. I was looking through what 4-stars I currently have. So I have 4-star Flak, I have 4-star Taraxodon on my war team right now. Night Stalker ain't too bad. Lionize, so, not Fire Drive. But we are going to go for Flak or Taraxodon, because even if we do pull Fire Drive, it's 50-50 next time round. So, we're going to open it up, guys. Put in the chat who you think I'm going to pull. If you guess right, you get a Sunstreaker Wozza stash crystal. It literally is that easy. So I'll give you a couple minutes to decide. A couple minutes to put it in the chat. The moderators will take some screenshots, and if you guess right, you'll get a code. So we've got Hoist still here. Yeah?
Yep.
Cool. So what's your prediction? What do you think?
Well, I don't want to say Fire Drive, even though anytime I say who I don't want, that's usually how I get. This actually worked just for when I get a 5-star. This is easy because I've already got Fire Drive, so this batch is definitely what I'm going for because I got nothing but good bots left in it. I'm going to predict Taraxodon.
Taraxodon? Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah. So what are you looking for in this? Are you looking for the same Flak and Taraxodon, or do you like Night Stalker?
I have Lionizer, Taraxodon, and Fire Drive already, so I'm either getting Flak or Night Stalker, so I can't go wrong with either one of them.
Yeah, they're good. They're decent bots. Definitely Flak as well. Night Stalker, again, I just worry about HQ18 with health. If they scale them, then brilliant. Night Stalker will be amazing. But we talked about it in the playtest chat about minions and about scaling. So I'm hoping they will scale their health and DPS slightly. Because obviously, as the HQs increase, as we get stronger and stronger bots, Flak emphasizes that. Lionizer does. They emphasize whatever the bot is doing. So as they bring out stronger bots, maybe that'll emphasize it. But Night Stalker doesn't emphasize anything on the bots. It's static. So it's something they need to consider long term. So that's why I wouldn't want Night Stalker. So a great bot right now, but looking a year in the future, then maybe not.
He's still pretty decent in Outpost though, because I always hate seeing Night Stalker or Ravage come out of Outpost.
That's a very good point, actually. That's actually a really good point. I'd probably put Night Stalker on an Outpost bot. So I wouldn't mind Night Stalker really. You know what? Thinking about that now, I didn't consider that. I'd probably put Night Stalker over Lionizer actually. So I'd put.
I've had great success on my Decepticon account on defense. I've got Overkill and Ravage on 2 of my Outpost bots, and I'm winning probably at least 50% on my defenses. That Fellbat helps a lot too.
Well, I'd say Flak is first pick. I think he's the second best combat probably in the game. Maybe yeah, I'd say second.
Between the two, I'd rather have the Flak than Night Stalker, but I can't go wrong in this with those two. Whereas the other ones, there's a lot of things I wouldn't be quite so happy about.
Well, I'm gonna go Flak, Traxodon second, Night Stalker third, Lionizer fourth, Fire Drive fifth, in that order. If I pull Fire Drive, we'll just turn the stream off, trash the computer, flip it all, and just end the stream there. But anything other than that, I won't be too bothered about. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to give it literally 10 seconds. And then once we've done that, no more guesses, guys. One guess each. I can see that Hot Rod tried doing a sneaky one there of putting Traxton and Flak, but he's gone and corrected it. Personally, I think I'm going to pull Night Stalker personally because I pull a lot of 4-star Night Stalkers, but I did pull a 4-star Flak the other day. I don't know. I think Night Stalker or Flak, but I'm going to go with Night Stalker. I tend to pull a lot of Night Stalkers. So let's do this. Let's just right batch. There we are. Oh, nice crystal. 5-star. Legacy 1. Don't forget, if you guess right, guys, you get a Sunstreaker Wozza stash crystal. Here we go. Who are you going to get? Come on, Flak. Come on, Flak. Traxodon. Not bad. Second choice. I'll take that. He can go straight on the war team.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll send you a code. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse, let's be honest. But now it's a 1 in 4 chance of Fire Drive, so it makes you wonder a bit. But yeah, I mean, this guy, I've got quite a bit of a... Oh, nope, wrong one. Close it down. Nope. I always do that. I press across to close the game down rather than close the screen down. But let's have a quick look now. Looking at the combats. So there he is. We've got 753k combat spark. So more than enough to level him up. Get him as high as we can. And let's see how he compares to the 4-star. The 4-star we've got a level 7. And he's going to go straight on Blaster. Don't forget, top tip, that Blaster's minions actually cause Blaster more healing when he has Traxodon equipped. True story.
Cool.
So yeah, So if you use Blaster, try and deploy his minions straight away, beginning of the battle, and he'll heal for more than he should or should not. So 40% of DPS value, so it's 10% more DPS, and 2% more healing. But we're not going to stop there. Obviously, we're also going to upgrade him more. And have we got to take him up to 9? No, we're a bit short for 9. But we've got them both at 8. We've got these guys at 10. And then we take the 4-star off. Goodbye, 4-star. You was good for a while. And there we have it. Boom. So congratulations everyone that chose Traxodon. And if you hit me up in Discord, I will pass you a Sunstreaker Wozza stash crystal. And if I don't get through to you today, it might be tomorrow. But yeah, everyone who guessed Traxxon gets a Sunstreaker Wozza Stash Crystal. Cool. I just want to again say thank you to Engineer Hoist for joining us. I'm glad we didn't end it on a bad note of cutting you off. Let me just get it on screen for one last time. Let's try again. Yay! We haven't lost you. So yeah, big thank yous again to Engineer Hoist. Thanks for joining us. I'm hoping
Yeah,
it's
thanks
not
for having
the
me.
anytime, brother, anytime. I hope it's not the last we see of you here. And yeah, you can usually see me on Hoist channel as well. If I can stay up that late. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning for me. It's late. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit a like on the video. Don't forget to make sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit 4K subscribers this year. And obviously, go and join Engineer Hoist's Discord channel. And make sure you subscribe to him as well. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. And peace out, guys.